But then I'm also thinking like with the story of Robin Hood, so of course it's popular or popularized as like this revolutionary figure, steal from the rich and give to the poor. But if you keep watching or keep reading that story, it's the return of the king.
That's what it
That's the
is.
point
Yeah.
of Robin Hood, is it not?
That's the whole point of Robin Hood, and so if you watch my videos, my more recent videos, especially even like some of my recent Patreon videos, even and now the one I did on Batman, I'm starting to try to lay out for people what it means to kind of be a hero in an upside down world, and also how to act in a world where the authority is corrupt. And so we have examples. Robin Hood is a really good example. Batman in the story that I tell is a good example. King David's a good example before he becomes king, because he actually joins with a band of brigands. Like he joins
Oh,
with a
that's the story of
band.
Abigail right there. First Samuel 25, right? He's a bandit. He's about to go wipe out her husband, Nabal, the fool. And he's interceded by the feminine, right?
That's right.
Who turns
Who
his
intercedes
aggression.
for her husband.
Yeah. And so, because if another masculine figure would have tried to, like, an army against an army, there would have been chaos and death and destruction, and someone would have got wiped out, probably Nabal the fool. But because the feminine came in with subtlety and grace, she very heroically was able to calm down David's fire, and then eventually she's glorified as queen.
Yeah, but you see, like David's wives are really important to understand who David is and how David is a weird kind of, how David is like a messianic figure who's doing a lot of things at the same time, a lot of strange things. The fact that David marries foreign women, like all his wives are other people's wives, basically, or either other people's wives or like the daughter of his enemy. It's like it's all about this weird flip that he does, where he has this. It's all like this strange, like, how can I say this, like fomenting of scandal and of marrying your enemy. And it's like all of this stuff. It's almost like you can see the story of Jesus not fully realized, like not fully finished. That's one of the interesting thing about a lot of the Old Testament characters is like you look at it and you say, if you look objectively at the characters, you can see that, for example, the idea that David marries the foreign, like marries the let's say the daughter of his enemy, and that marries also, this woman in a very disturbing way. Like the loose woman that he marries, so he marries a loose woman, and then he also marries the daughter, the woman of his enemy. And so it's like, yeah, it's like that's what Christ does too. Or Christ does that. Like Christ marries Rome. Christ marries he ends up moving out towards the foreign. He integrates the foreign. That's what Christ does. Like until then, Israel is about the nation and about, the descendants of Abraham and the revelation of Moses. And then Christ comes and says, yes, this and this. And he's like, now it's all in, like everything is going to get dealt with. And so he both marries. So he both has in early iconography, there was the two churches. So it's like the church of the circumcised and the church of the Gentiles. And so the image of like the virgin in the sense of Mary as the virgin, and then the Mary as the whore. So there are the two Marys, you could say, the Virgin Mary and the whore Mary. And you can see it, like it's actually not even in scripture, but it ends up like manifesting itself, even if it's not clearly in scripture. Because like Mary Magdalene, for example, the idea that Mary Magdalene is the prostitute or the loose woman who washes Christ's feet, that's not in scripture. That's like that's a later tradition. It's not there at all. Like, you can't even find it in scripture. But it's like this character has to kind of come together of the whore and the virgin as being the two aspects. And so King David is like every like story in the Old Testament where you see someone ends up marrying like a foreign woman, and then there's this weird thing happening there, is related to this thing that Christ is ultimately going to do, like Moses and the Ethiopian woman, Samson even, and the foreign woman. And so it's like all of this discussion is what's going on. And so it's like, and finally you have Christ and the Samaritan who like offers her the water, he's offering her his source, which is referred to in Proverbs as basically, it's talking about sexual union in Proverbs. It says, what does it say? It's like, keep your fountain for yourself. Don't let it, go into the streets, and don't give your water to the foreign woman. And it's like, that's what Christ is doing. Christ is doing exactly that. He can integrate it all. Like, there's nothing stopping Christ in any way.